talking about
an argument against Jungian archetypes and literary integrity in favor of complex visualization of the human experience. Alright, so this presentation is about to have the highest production value of any speech I've ever given. The Russian meteor. I did realize though that it looks like Tinkerbell flies over the castle and then explodes on impact. Nevertheless, I love Disney magic. I love how they bring their characters to life. I love how they can make it snow in the middle of LA, and I love how they magically keep their bathrooms super clean. And when you're talking about magic, few characters are more magical than Tinkerbell. So Tinkerbell is Peter Pan's sort of best friend from the J.M. Barrie play and novel, Peter Pan. And she's sort of one of the most iconic Disney characters, which is a problem when you're a little girl and you want to buy the shirt, and then you look closer and you realize, oh my god, look at her butt. It's just out there, it's so round and big. Talk about an LA face with an Oakland booty. So, I was really excited in 2008 when Walt Disney decided to reimagine Tinkerbell, with the hopes of reimagining her with like maybe 1.5 inches more skirt. And spoiler alert, I know you guys all want to see this, but I'm going to spoil it for you right now. So Tinkerbell, it's about Tinkerbell before she met Peter Pan, where she lives in Pixie Hollow, and all the fairies are segregated by their different talents. You're either a light talent, or an animal talent, or a water talent, or like Tinkerbell, you're a tinker talent. So Tinkerbell wasn't too excited about that, and I know what it's like to walk into a room where everyone else looks like that. But eventually, Tinkerbell embraces that she loves to invent things, and she becomes proud of being sort of the engineers of the fairy world. And I was really excited because it's kind of the female counterpart to Phineas and Ferb, Disney's other do-it-yourself maker show about two brothers who combat the boredom of summer by building crazy contraptions. It also gets a little bit of cred from me because it's voiced by Mae Whitman, who played Belle of the Ball Anne on Arrested Development and was Evil X number 4 in Scott Pilgrim, one of the few movies that took 6 books and condensed it down to 1 movie. Now I'm a big believer that as audiences, we deserve movies that are faithful to their source material. I'm just saying, Peter Jackson, you don't have to take 1 book and break it into 3 times that I have to pay ticket prices. But Disney doesn't have a great track record of being faithful to their source material. Then again, you can't blame them when their source material features everyone having sex and being violent. What Disney does in this reimagining of Tinkerbell is they base it on this one line in the story where they explain that Tinkerbell is actually called Tinkerbell because she's a tinker, who's someone that mends pots and kettles. But if you read the whole source material, you realize that Tinkerbell, that's only one line in the book. Tinkerbell spends most of the story acting like a reality TV star, pulling Wendy's hair, throwing tantrums, looking at her butt a lot. And it was sort of difficult for me to meld together these two ideas of Tinkerbell, because on one hand, we deserve a Tinkerbell that's like the one in the novel, and on the other hand, for every Tina Fey as Tinkerbell, we have someone like Paris Hilton and her dog, Tinkerbell. And it's like Katie said, we need female heroes for young girls to look up to. So maybe we have to judge Tinkerbell by Batman standards. Maybe this is the Tinkerbell we need, even if it's not the Tinkerbell we deserve. Or maybe it's more than that. Maybe, like New York Times bestselling author John Green says, we have to imagine others complexly. Instead of segregating them into these different archetypes of what we think people should be, we need to embrace the complexity of human experience. So it's easy to try to break people down into these one-dimensional, but this is the new Tinkerbell. This is 3D CGI. This isn't one-dimensional characters worthy of Star Trek. So imagining others complexly is about looking out on a city and realizing that through every lit window is a person who's living a life that's as full of triumph and sorrow and as emotionally complex as the life you're living. So maybe it's okay for Tinkerbell to be an engineer, because if we learn anything from Ignite Talks, it's that we aren't just engineers, we're more than that. We're our passions, we're dancers and food connoisseurs and sci-fi fans and students and teachers and brothers and sisters. And maybe it's okay for Tinkerbell to being an engineer, even though she spends a lot of time looking at her butt.